we see the same effect, that if there's coherent attention on almost anything, we see these effects. For some,
but what happened in the consecration would happen even if those 5,000 people are not there.
That would be an interesting experiment to try, yes.
Wanting to know why does this phenomenon happen, but then why can't we say…
We know why it happens.
Then why does it happen? I don't know why.
I know why it happens.
Professor Radin, first part is normally the question towards you, and I think the second part is to Sadhgruu. I know that you've shared many of the interesting findings from your research center, but what was the most statistically robust findings that you came across in your experiments and research, and what was the significance of that finding? And I think…
let him answer the question.
I want to know what is creating that findings? What is behind that phenomena? And
well, we still don't know what's the phenomena.
No, so we can talk about the phenomena, and if that phenomena is naturally occurring anyways, like let's say people might do sadhana, people might do these different experiences, and we are experiencing it. Something as natural as certain other natural phenomena that occurs in nature. Why is it, if we're not going to commercially use it, it seems like you are not so positive and forth in studying it. Why can't we study it? Why can't we study it like any other phenomena?
So one of the most robust effects that we've seen is part of our Global Consciousness Project. So when mind pays attention, it is as though the coherence involved in paying attention makes the physical world coherent too. And we have 50 years of laboratory studies with one person and a device. So these are now putting these same random number generators around the world, and we see that during periods of large-scale mass attention on things that happen that are carried by the media, we see a change in randomness towards coherence. So in our formal experiment that went from 1998 to 2015, we had 500 such events. Things like the opening ceremony of the Olympics and the death of a celebrity and terrorist attacks, all those kinds of things that attract a lot of attention. So the coherent attention created deviations to 7.3 sigma. So those of you from physics know, 7.3 sigma is a lot. You can get the Nobel Prize for 5 sigma.
You also trying… I thought there's a whole lot of talk about Nobel Prize in the country and…
So the statistical likelihood of that is about 3 trillion to 1, the odds against chance. So it's very unlikely to have seen that the physical world changed as a result, at least in correlation, with millions or perhaps billions of people simply paying attention to the same thing at the same time. So how do we explain that? There are philosophical ways of thinking about it, but ultimately it says that there is a relationship between mind and matter.
No question. Mind is matter, if you ask me.
Mind is matter.
How is it not matter? It is matter.
Well, does it matter? Yes.
That I don't know. It may not matter.
Oh, okay. There we go.
It depends whose mind it is. But mind is matter because mind is a physical phenomenon. Well, if you can gauge it by neuronal activity, the electrical currents that are happening there and whatever else you observe, A, B, C, D, alphabets, if you observe, I'm using modern alphabet, I'm not saying alpha, beta.
Yeah.
So, it is physical in nature, subtle, but physical still. So about that question was not directed towards me. My question is, why? Why can't we commercialize it? Why can't we use it?
That's not the question. I did not ask if we're not going to, because you said commercialization and intent is what creates…
No. Intent, once it goes a certain way, intent needs investment. Once investment comes, commerce comes, you can't help it.
But I am talking about without that. Without that, if it was pure wanting to know, why does this phenomenon happen? Then why can't we say…
We know why it happens.
Then why does it happen? I don't know why it happens.
I know why it happens.
Please let us know.
Let us know, yes.
No, but you want to go piece by piece, saying that… I'm not trying to negate everything. All I'm saying is, see right now, first of all, maybe these days it's changing a little bit, but largely the modern neurological sciences and others have been treating brain as the source of all this. It is not. It's one place, certain number of things happen. But if you… see, it's like this, you learn to operate your… these days, of course, it's all touch screen, but even then, I see a lot of people who are typing out on their… laptop or iPad like this. The way to type is like this, all right? So one who is typing with one finger, they think it's fine, they're saying, I'm doing fine. Of course you're doing fine. If you have only one leg, also you will be doing fine. Only when somebody with two legs comes and runs next to you, you realize the value of two legs, isn't it? So the value of 10 fingers, if you don't know, you do this, and you think you're doing okay. Do you see a lot of people typing like this? Because nobody learned typing like this. All the 10 fingers when they type, what happens? When one finger types, what happens? Is it the same thing? No. So right now, looking at everything separate, we've caused a certain amount of skewed approach to life. You're thinking brain is the intelligence. I've been going through this last 3 days with everybody, I don't want to start that again, but every cell in your body has more memory than your entire brain can ever hold. Million years of evolutionary memory is here, genetic memory is here in every cell. Your stingy parents gave you only one cell, isn't it? With that, see what's happened? They didn't give you 1 billion cells. With one cell, everything that was needed for this life was there in that one cell or no? Hello? Yes. Does your brain contain that much memory, I'm asking you? Hello? No. A single cell that came from your parents had more memory than your entire brain has, 1 trillion times more memory, if you ask me. So our understanding of life is all broken into keyhole approach. This one piece, this one piece, this one piece, this one piece. If you approach like this is the first aspect that we handle. If you go piece by piece of the universe, you can have your research going for the next 1,000,000 years or 1,000,000,000,000 years. That's the advantage. You will never be unemployed, okay? But you will not know. Because with all these pieces, you will not make the whole. The way you are made, there is a wholeness to this. In some way, it's a reflection of the creation itself. If you are willing to look at this is even possible for an amoeba, but the poor thing is not so aware, doesn't have the necessary capacity to process that. But with a human being, if you're willing to turn inward, when I say inward, people think contemplation. Contemplation means rolling around in the same garbage bin again, maybe in a more organized way. See, out of the garbage bin, there's a whole… unfortunately, there's a whole lot of people living out of the garbage bin, you know. They know how to process and they find something useful to eat every day. If you process 5 garbage bins, you have 2 meals a day, actually. There's enough out there. But is that the way to produce food, I'm asking? Isn't there a better way of doing it? And is that the way to feed the whole world? Is it a possibility? 10 scavengers may eat like this, but is that the way to feed the world? By sourcing the garbage bin? No. So, there is a way. Right now we are talking about intent and what's that, coherence of mind, right? By being focused…
Attention.
There is a certain… by attention. Human attention is a phenomenal thing, much more than most human beings ever imagine what their attention can do. That attention is so scattered. Today it's a qualification that I have attention deficiency is a qualification. Without attention, you won't open a single door in the universe. If you have absolute sense of attention, there is no door in the universe which will not open for you. But you need keenness of attention like that. So, I'm not questioning those things, but I'm saying at every point we are drawing conclusions which is not right, and if we go that way, it's endless wrong conclusions we'll draw, and every 2 years later we realize that's not it, and keep going. It is like you see a flower on the tree. We'll go back to mango tree, is it okay?
Sure.
It's far away,
That's
but…
fine, yes.
You saw a mango tree, there is a flower, you thought it's nice and plucked it and put it in your hair and went around. Fine, it's a beautiful flower by itself, it has nice fragrance also. Only thing is, in your tree there will be no mangoes, that's all. But you don't know, you never saw a mango, you never tasted a mango, do you think you lost anything? You didn't lose anything, you got a fine flower in your hair. This is how life is. But the mango farmers in India, they have a certain wisdom. See, if you plant a mango tree, by second year, maximum third year, it'll flower. The mango farmer will go around diligently plucking off all the flowers and throwing it into the root. He won't allow a single… if you leave it, it'll become a fruit. In the tiny little plant, 2-3 fruits will come. But the moment it fruits at that age, that tree will never fruit properly. So he will pluck it off, he will dig the root and see if it has matured. Only after 5-6 years, when he finds the root is mature, then he stops plucking the flowers. Then this tree will bear a lot of fruit. This is just like that. At every point, if you keep doing things because you can do it, life won't mature into something beautiful. The fullness of life will not come to you, that's all.
I didn't plan for this, so I don't have the exact numbers. But it continues to the research Dr. Reading has worked so far with the conscious planet RNG experiments. And then there was a data collection with the RNGs during the consecration of David.
Hope you won't conclude that I'm a devil or something. No, okay.
No, you're fine.
So there was a collection of data. There were 2 independent random number generators working. And I did half of the…
Can you please explain to me what is a random number generating? I feel all the numbers are random.
Yes. So just briefly, how we can imagine it. Dr. Radin, I think, is more competent to explain this.
It is like a coin flipper, zeros and ones, right, random, except that it's electronic, and the source of the randomness are quantum events that are taking place, called quantum tunneling in semiconductors, which is considered to be fundamentally random. So the devices are useful for studying mind-matter interaction because there shouldn't be anything, according to mind, that will cause the randomness to change. But as it turns out, in events with a lot of minds that are focused, like in the Consecration, it doesn't behave randomly anymore. So that's one of the major tools that we use to study mind-matter interaction.
Yes. So in this case, we had 2 random number generators. First thing that we observed is that they independently, if you flip the coin, there should be 50-50 in flipping the coin over the period of time. But independently, each of them, we saw the statistics changed during the consecration, especially during some events and during certain days. That independently they changed, and not only independently, that the odds of flipping a coin changed, that there was correlation between the two random number generators. In the data analysis, we could also see, this was all preliminary, but we could see certain peaks at the moments you entered the temple, and we could also see the time when the certain patterns started to accumulate. So that was another interesting thing that we saw, that during the days when the certain events started, we could see and the amplitude going up. So everything is right now preliminary, and we're working with Dr. Radin to publish the results of the consecration.
Yeah.
Right now what we have is the observers who were there at the consecration, just mapping the timestamps. But from my point of view, it would be very interesting to hear your take, Sadhgruu, on what times certain things were done, so we can also stamp it in the analysis and see what is done in the background.
She has a question, please.
Also, you mentioned that.
Louder, please.
Also, you mentioned that the person who's analyzing the data saw some very interesting pattern that he hasn't seen.
Yes, the amplitudes of the pattern we got, compared to anything else that has been analyzed so far, it's unseen. So the odds are very, very rare that certain patterns would occur. So we have a very strong statistics on it.
Right. And we've done probably 100 smaller events. We have this worldwide experiment, but the consecration would be, 5,000, 6,000 people? Yeah. So that's sort of a moderate size group of people. But we've done it from small groups of 10 people up to billions. And we see the same effect, that if there's coherent attention on almost anything, we see these effects. For some,
but what happened in the consecration would happen even if those 5,000 people are not there.
That would be an interesting experiment to try, yes.
Because all this chanting, everything is to keep them involved. Otherwise, no chant, no nothing. Simply it can be done.
Yeah, let's try that at the next consecration.
No. Because at one point when I allowed somebody to experiment with me, they diagnosed me as I'm dead. Then…
they were wrong.
Then I said, all right, if I'm dead, I'm like this, I'm fine. Then they said, maybe your brain is dead. I said, the second opinion is dangerous.
Yeah.
I'll stick to the first. So, according to some diagnosis, I'm dead. I don't mind. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm saying, we're looking at life in pieces. The grand picture of our existence is being missed. And the reason why I'm always… anybody shows such signs, we put them down, is because without creating an absolutely stable logical foundation, if they forage into these things, they will lose it at some point. Because the logical foundations are not so firm in most people. If they're walking on the street and they saw one white something move like that, they'll think, oh, maybe it's a ghost. They're not clear, there can't be a ghost there. You can freak them with these things. If they are capable of being freaked by that, it means their foundations are not good. These people should not forage into things which are not logical. They must stay in the logical realm and establish that, so that it doesn't fail them no matter what. Otherwise, they will lose it, they'll go off the rails.
in a way, that's the answer to his question earlier, since it's kind of, when you asked about people who call or write you and say they're going, in a way, what you just said seems the answer to that.
In a way, yes. The reason why always it's been said, well, I used analogies like plucking a flower or whatever, but essentially it's this, that the logical foundations are not absolute in most human beings, because that's the nature of logic. Logic can be made into many different kinds. There are various types of logics. So, to establish a logical foundation in such a way that no matter what, it will not shake, if it's like that, that person could forage a little bit beyond. Others, if they forage, they will lose many things, they could become disasters, some may not become disasters, but they will become diminished. Some will become disasters.
I think Dr. Radin had shared in the presentation before with the submarinist. Except somebody who has been trained to stay in underwater for many months, and when they had some sort of cognitions about what's happening with their family, you have said that it was actually 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is how we know that whatever telepathy is, it's not mediated by electromagnetics, at least not by conventional ideas of electromagnetics. Maybe something else.
Definitely not. It's not like telephone.
Right.
But in a way, what you just said indicates that that person is fairly stable, right? That they can stay so far below the water for so long.
And as I mentioned in that talk, that the submariners are selected for being extremely psychologically stable because of the environments that they're in. So that's why it is both not too surprising that it happens, but on the other hand, extremely surprising because that's not the person that is the stereotype of a psychic.